Okay, we are now at lesson number 3, which is recharging yourself for high performance. So let's read the quote. The mind must be given relaxation. It will rise improved and sharper after a good break. Just as rich fields must not be forced, so constant work on the anvil will fracture the force of the mind. A little bit old English, but the idea is that if you constantly work and constantly strain your mind or your body, you will break it, and you will either get injured physically or you will get a burnout, maybe risk getting a depression. Just breaking the mind, breaking the body, those are the things that we want to avoid. And how can we avoid those things? In some cases, you can never avoid it 100%, but we can always make an effort to try to avoid, because some things happen in life. We have to deal with them. We experience setbacks. We experience tough physical challenges, tough mental challenges. Those things are part of life, but I'm talking about things that you can avoid. Okay, like getting injuries, getting burnout, putting too much stress on yourself, beating yourself up mentally, etc. Okay, so you need to recharge. And in this lesson, we will understand the importance of rest and self care, Stoic philosophy, reflect on current self care habits, and identify areas for improvement. We'll learn how to create a self care routine, and we will explore the concept of active recovery. This is something that I've recently incorporated in my life. And we will look at the benefits of prioritizing rest and self care for high performance. And the reason that I'm including this lesson here is because a lot of high performers feel like rest is overrated. And I know that a lot of high performers are watching this and are interested in Stoicism. And it's really something that we, in many cases, we have to learn. If it's not in your nature to slow down, it's something that you really have to focus on and learn. Um, so let's take a look at the slide. Incorporating rest and self-care practices into a Stoic lifestyle. Stoics believe that rest and self-care practices are important for overall well-being. By taking care of ourselves, we can perform our duties to the best of our abilities and cultivate resilience to face challenges. Um, so, rest and self care are just as important as training, because lesson number 1, we talked about training ourselves mentally. Lesson number 2, we talked about training ourselves physically. Some people, that's all they focus on, and they never think about self-care and rest, and then they keep straining themselves until something breaks. As a Stoic, you must avoid that. You must really avoid that, because that's not a consistent life, because that's kind of a yo-yo type life where it's like up and down, up and down. You break something, you're forced to take a step back, and then it's every time it's 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward. Eventually, you notice you're going backwards. All right, so really, you have to avoid this. Um, so, how can, like again, like the other exercises, we'll focus on self awareness first. Reflect on your personal self care habits. Take a moment to reflect on what you currently do for rest and self care, things that nurture your mind, things that make you feel better. And again, pull out your journal, write about these things. Are you getting enough rest? Are you prioritizing mental and emotional well being? Is it even a priority in your life? Is it on your radar? Do you sometimes think about it? Do you sometimes think about your emotional state, and do you take action? And remember that self care is not selfish, it is necessary for a fulfilling and productive life. I put that there because some people honestly think that taking time for themselves is selfish. My, really good friend just last week told me that on last Sunday he was saying, like my mind is really full. I don't feel so good. Like working a lot. He has three kids, um, and he said like I'm never alone. Like during the day I'm at work. In the evening, or when I come home with the kids, and then when the kids are in bed with his wife, and when am I alone? So he said on Sunday I was like I didn't know what to do. Like I wasn't feeling so well. And then he said, like because we talk about these things often, taking a moment for yourself, finding a way to recharge and improve yourself. And this, what I'm about to say, is kind of related to the next thing also that I'm about to say. But he said, yeah, I just grabbed my mountain bike and I drove to like this area where there are a lot of like mountain biking trails in the woods and stuff like that. It's like a 45-minute drive for where we live. And he's like, yeah, I just spent like 3 hours like slowly mountain biking, not like anything crazy. And like I felt totally better afterwards, and I felt completely recharged. And I came back, and I could have fun with everyone. And I said, "What would you do in the past?" He was like, "In the past, I would just sit on a couch and just be in a bad mood, and then kind of react or like take it out on my wife or my kids or whatever." And isn't that the easy way out? Like most of us don't want to make an effort to really recharge and do practice some self-care. So are you getting enough rest? Are you prioritizing your mental and emotional well-being? Think about these things, be honest with yourself. Then create a self-care routine aligned with Stoic values. Number one, to incorporate self-care in your Stoic lifestyle, create a routine that focuses on what you control. Okay, because a lot of people when we talk about self care or rest or relaxation, they always say, "Yeah, I want to do something, but my friends are not available, or my partner has to do that." They start looking at others. No, no, no. Focus on Stoic values. Obviously, focusing on what you control. What is something that you can do at all times? My friend, instead of asking someone to go with him, he just went alone, and he has a mountain bike, and he just went. He set himself up. He bought the thing that you can put on your car to carry the thing, right? Um, so this routine might include activities, keyword activities, such as meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature, like my friend. And remember, like the example that I gave is not about exercise. It was not an exercising example. It was really spending time in nature, switching off, being on the mountain bike, having no phone, having no thoughts. Because even if you're going slow, you have to think. Because even he was going on like a because there's different type of trails. There's like the advanced trail, beginner, and like those types of separations, and he chose like the beginner trail, and it's very easy. I've been there as well. There's no real crazy heights or whatever, and but okay, it's quite simple. You don't have to exert yourself physically, but you still have to pay attention because you can fall still. But at the same time, you're in nature, and you don't have thoughts, right? So you can switch off all those thoughts and be completely present. So it's a great activity that includes a lot of things at the same time. But you really want to do something for yourself that recharges you, helps you to focus on the important things in life. Meditation, journaling, reading, spending time in nature, those things are truly important. And rest and recovery and self care is not only about sitting on a couch or watching a movie, right? A lot of us, that's our default because we've kind of been trained to think that way. Oh, rest, Netflix, right? Like they've done a great job at marketing. but it's not realistic, right? It's not helpful. So really focus on the third point and choose activities that promote self-awareness, tranquility, and wisdom. And I just gave you a few quick examples, right? Mountain biking, cycling, walking in nature, going into the woods, reading books outside, also perfect. Because even like for me, I find it quite difficult in recent times to sit down and read a book, particularly if I don't have I'm currently moving, so I don't have like a set chair for me. Like in my previous apartment, I had like a special chair for reading, and it was a lot easier for me to read. But so I find it difficult to read nowadays. Obviously, with a lot of distractions, with a lot of things that I'm working on, um, but also not having a really nice area for me to read. So what I like is to take my book and go outside, read, whether it's on a park bench or in a coffee shop, etc. But it's the same as a lot of people say, "Oh, when I'm on a plane, I can do a lot of work." It's because there's nothing else you can do. Yeah, you can watch a movie, but you know, um, it helps you to focus, right? So those types of activities are great, particularly if you go out the house. Okay, those things will help you to improve self-care. So here's the exercise that I want to share with you, and this is a real game changer. Include active recovery in your exercise routine. So I want to bring it back to the last lesson. So active recovery is a form of exercise that promotes rest and recovery while still engaging in physical activity. So examples of active recovery include yoga, swimming, or walking, and actually also cycling. That's how I do it. Um, by including active recovery in your exercise routine, you can improve your physical health and practice self-care simultaneously. And that's the beauty, right? Because um, active recovery basically means, if you're familiar with heart rate zone training, it's zone one training. Now, very, very quick overview. There are 5 zones when it comes to heart rate zone training. Zone one being the first zone, which is equivalent of a brisk walk or like a decent tempo bike ride, or yoga or swimming, like a slow, like a relaxed pace of swimming. It's when you don't sweat unless you do it for like an hour or so or more, and you can very easily do it that in that pace. Now, active recovery keeps the blood flowing, and by moving yourself, or like doing very, it's not even moderate exercise, just like very easy exercise, keeping your heart rate, for me, my zone one, I think, is below 120 beats, so 112 beats, something like that. I don't know, 120. But anyway, I usually keep it around between 100 and 110. And I just go out cycling for 45 minutes, an hour or something. And especially if I'm sore, it helps me to recover faster. That's why they call it active recovery, because we are being active, but at the same time, we're recovering. Because when we stay in zone one, where we don't exert selves, we get some exercise without breaking down cells and molecules, etc. Instead, we promote recovery, and we promote especially if you have sore muscles, we promote the recovery of that as well. And this is why I love it so much. And in fact, a lot of my bike rides have been on zone one recently, particularly if I include a second one uh, in my routine, because I can easily do it, because it's not straining me, and also mentally it helps because I enjoy it a lot more, right? Because Often, if we know that we have to work out very hard and we have to push ourselves, then we prefer to not do it. But if it's enjoyable and it's not too hard, we often look forward to doing it. So I really recommend including active recovery in your exercise routine. And it can be as simple as just doing some exercise that you like, but on just like take a few steps back. Think about the type of exercise you like to do, and then just do it very in a very slow pace, or just a very easy pace that you don't feel like you really exercised. Mentally, it requires some adaptation, but I honestly promise you that it will give you a lot of benefits. So that will wrap up module one, health. Now that we have focused on these topics, it's time for us to move on to the next module, which is wealth. And then we will focus on some brief principles, like a very brief way of improving our wealth, kind of a very basic level ideas of the ones that I share in my book, The Stoic Path to Wealth, but more focused on using some exercises that you can apply to improve your wealth. So let's move on to the next module.